In cities and towns all across the world, a quiet revolution is taking place. It isn't being televised, and there are no grand declarations, but its effects are reshaping society at its core. Men are opting out. Marriage rates are declining, long-term relationships are being postponed indefinitely, and a growing number of men are choosing the path of solitude. This isn't a sudden aversion to love or a rejection of companionship. It's a conscious, calculated withdrawal from a system they feel no longer serves them. It's the result of men realizing the foundational blueprint for relationships, the one based on mutual respect, shared sacrifice, and enduring loyalty, has been fundamentally altered, seemingly without their input. For generations, a man entered a partnership with the understanding that his effort would be valued, his commitment reciprocated, and his role as a pillar of strength would be honored. But what many men now observe, particularly over the last couple of decades, is that these contributions are not only unappreciated, but are often expected as a bare minimum, if not taken for granted entirely. Men are stepping back, not from a lack of feeling, but because they have learned a difficult lesson. Investing everything in a dynamic that undervalues their presence is a direct route to being broken. At the heart of this withdrawal is a stark new reality. The equilibrium of risk and reward in relationships has been completely upended. In the past, a committed partnership offered a man a profound sense of purpose, a legacy, a family, and a partner who would stand with him through life's storms. Today, that same man sees cautionary tales everywhere. He witnesses divorce proceedings that leave fathers estranged from their children, and he hears about alimony and child support arrangements that become permanent financial echoes of a temporary union. He sees men who dedicated years to building a life with someone, only to have it dismantled by a shift in feelings or a court's decree. Faced with this, a man begins to ask himself a sobering question: what is all my sacrifice for? The answer, more and more, feels uncertain. He is toiling, providing, and committing to a partnership where one person holds the power to leave with far fewer consequences, while he is left to bear the financial and emotional fallout. This isn't just a perception. For many, it's a lived reality they've seen happen to friends, family, or even themselves. But the discouragement isn't purely legal or financial. It's deeply cultural. The very institution of a lifelong union, once held as a sacred bond, is often treated with a casual, disposable attitude. Society frequently sends conflicting messages. Men are criticized for desiring loyalty, dismissed as insecure for wanting a committed partner, and labeled as controlling for setting healthy boundaries. A man who clearly states his standards is often seen as problematic, yet the act of constantly seeking a better option is often framed as empowerment. This glaring double standard has not gone unnoticed. Men scroll through their feeds and see a constant stream of stories about men who gave their all, only to be met with betrayal and disrespect. They observe a cultural current that seems to prioritize fleeting drama over long-term stability. In response, men have started to guard what they once offered unconditionally: their time, their energy, and above all, their commitment. This leads to another powerful realization. For many, relationships have started to feel less like a partnership and more like a transaction. An alarming number of men have learned the hard way that affection can feel conditional, lasting only as long as he is providing, entertaining, or fulfilling an ever-shifting list of expectations. Instead of feeling loved for who they are, they feel valued for what they can do. This kind of arrangement doesn't feel like intimacy. It feels like a performance evaluation. Men look at the culture around them and see a relentless pursuit of an impossible ideal. A man who is both a protector and endlessly sensitive, both predictable and exciting, both a stable provider and a spontaneous adventurer. Faced with these contradictions, many men have simply concluded that the game is unwinnable, and so they've decided to stop playing. Perhaps the most profound truth in this entire shift is this: men aren't walking away because they've stopped believing in love. They are walking away because they believe in it too much to accept a counterfeit version. They are finished with the role of the disposable utility. They are tired of being asked to compete for the basic level of respect that should be the foundation of any healthy relationship. They have come to understand that their inner peace is non-negotiable, and no amount of temporary affection is worth the high cost of being consistently undervalued. When a man makes the choice to walk his own path, he is not choosing loneliness, he is choosing dignity. He is reclaiming his focus, his freedom, and his sense of self. And in a great irony, this very act of self-preservation, which is often mislabeled as weakness or fear, is one of the greatest demonstrations of strength a man can make. He is coming to understand that tranquility is far more valuable than turbulence. A man who has lived through the constant stress of arguments, emotional games, and unpredictable moods learns that no amount of passion can make up for a life of chaos. He begins to see that being on his own, while it has its challenges, offers a level of calm and clarity that modern relationships often fail to provide. In that quiet space, his energy is his own. It isn't siphoned away by suspicion or drama. It can be channeled into building his future, improving his health, and pursuing his purpose on his own terms. The fear isn't about commitment itself. The real fear is about losing oneself in a dynamic where one's identity, freedom, and mental peace are slowly chipped away. This new perspective is being fueled and accelerated by the rise of online communities. For the first time in history, men are not isolated in their experiences. Through digital forums and discussions, they can see that their personal struggles are not personal failings, but part of a much larger observable pattern. This collective sharing of knowledge is reshaping male consciousness on a massive scale. Men are learning from the painful experiences of others and choosing not to walk the same path. They are studying relationship dynamics, understanding human nature, and seeing through the romanticized illusions they were once taught. Once a man sees the underlying mechanics of the game, his desire to play it by the old rules diminishes. He no longer gives his trust blindly. He becomes more discerning, more observant, and more protective of his own well-being. This expanded awareness is a primary driver behind why men are stepping back. They have seen the truth, and it cannot be unseen. This is compounded by the way modern validation works. In an era where attention is a currency, a man's focused affection and loyalty have been devalued. The devotion he offers one person is now weighed against the fleeting attention of hundreds or even thousands of others online. His commitment, once a cherished prize, is often overshadowed by the endless chase for novelty. Men recognize that trying to compete with a never-ending stream of digital admirers is a battle they are not interested in fighting. Why pour your soul into one person if your dedication is treated as just one option among many? This abundance of choice has, in many cases, bred a sense of ingratitude, and men have grown weary of endlessly trying to prove their worth to someone who may not fully recognize it. In the end, what is happening is a profound reevaluation of life's priorities. Men are realizing that they do not need a relationship to be whole. For generations, society sold them the idea that a man without a woman was incomplete, that being single was a sign of failure. But that narrative is crumbling. Men are discovering that true fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from living a life of purpose. It comes from building a legacy, cultivating strong friendships, and embracing freedom. They are rediscovering their identity not as someone's partner, but as sovereign individuals on their own journey. And as men begin to embody this mindset, a funny thing happens. The strength that comes from not needing validation becomes incredibly attractive. By walking away from broken models of relationships, men are not just rejecting a system that no longer works. They are reclaiming their power, their peace, and their future. This is not the end of their story. It is the beginning of their freedom. And for the first time in a long time, they are moving forward with their heads held high, unapologetically, and on their own terms. Thanks for watching. This is Goodbye, Mr. Nice. See you next time.